What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now for today's episode, this is essentially going to apply for those that live in states that require front license plates. Nobody wants to drill in that brand new bumper, as that's a typical installation method that the OEM bracket requires. Now for those of you with a brand new Tacoma or any other new car or truck for that matter, this DIY license plate bracket will not require any drilling into the front bumper. The materials are relatively cheap and the process should go quick. So let's go ahead and make a custom bracket. Okay, the first step of this process is you want to figure out where you want to mount this license plate on the truck. Do you want it in the center? Do you want it offset on the driver's side? Or do you want it offset on the passenger side? I'm going to go ahead and choose the passenger side because if I offset on the driver's side, it's going to interfere with my tow hook right there. So we'll go ahead and put the focus on what's on the passenger side here for mounting points. Now, before I focus on the passenger side, let me show you where the OEM license plate bracket mounts to. So you can see there's a dimple right here and a dimple right there. So you got a plastic bracket, and it's basically meant to have self-tapping screws that just screw right into the plastic bumper right there. And see, there's your dimple right there. Passenger side, driver's side. Okay, now looking at the underside of the bumper, you've got these 10mm bolts right here. And these are the points that will be supporting our bracket. Depending on where you want to mount your license plates, I'm going to probably go ahead and choose either these two bolts or these two bolts right here. I haven't quite decided. I'm just going to put it up there and see how it looks. So I can either have it right here or I can have it about right here. Still undecided right now, but I can decide later once I get the bracket fabricated. So what you need to do is you need to determine the distance from one bolt to the other with the measuring tape. So if you're going to mount on this side, obviously this is a shorter distance. If you go on this side, that's a longer distance right there. So basically what you can do is you're measure from the center bolt of one to the other. Looks like I have 7.5 inches right there from bolt to bolt. If I go on the far passenger side right here, from this bolt to this bolt, looks like I have 5 inches right there. Now there's many options of what material you want to use, but this right here is a furnace access cover I had in the basement. As you can see, it's already got a bent flange on the top right there. And it's already got one on the side, which will provide some more strength. And you're definitely going to want to have that flange bent right there on the top, because whatever distance we measured on those bolts on the underside of the bumper, that's basically where we're going to drill at on the top here. But in the interim, I've already taken my license plate and traced around the edge using a Sharpie. As you can see, the outline right here. We'll go ahead and cut this out. And then after we're done cutting it out, we'll go ahead and grind the edges smooth so there's no sharp edges. So let's go ahead and take care of this. Hardest part of the project is officially done. Got all the sheet metal cut out. Now remember, you definitely need a top lip on your piece of sheet metal. The side lip right here is optional. I'm just leaving that for more structural integrity. So I tried the electric bandsaw first. That was a little too aggressive. And I tried the Dremel next. That seemed to be working all right. I had to go through a second cutoff wheel. And then I followed up with an angle grinder and knock off these sharp edges. So the edges are pretty smooth right now. Radius turned out pretty well right there. And radius got a little too aggressive right here on this corner, but the license plate will totally cover this thing up. You're not even gonna see this thing. So next step of the process, we're gonna take our license plate and we're gonna position it over our bracket. Now I'm gonna go ahead and leave a 1/4 inch gap between the top of the bracket and the top of the license plate, just in case I put a license plate frame on this. And once you're happy with the positioning, go ahead and take a Sharpie, mark the holes where the license plate's at, take it off, and we'll drill some holes. Now that we've got the holes drilled out for license plate, next step, we need to go ahead and put this against the truck and decide what position we want to put this license plate. Now, I don't want to go too far in the center of the truck right here because I plan to put a nice TRD skid plate, and I don't want this license plate bracket interfering with that skid plate. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick to the far passenger side here, but I don't want this thing overhanging too much right there. So I'm definitely going to be using this mounting bolt right here and this mounting bolt. So kind of guesstimating without having that skid plate in possession. So I think this is a good position right here. There's gonna be a slight overhang just like that, but I'm gonna be painting this bracket black anyways, so kind of hide it. So with this thing in position, go ahead and mark where one of those bolts are at, and then we'll go ahead and take the measuring tape and stretch the other bolt line, and then we'll mark it and drill it. And here's the finished result of our custom license plate bracket that is no drill for the front bumper. Just made of simple sheet metal. You can use whatever material you want. You don't have to have this side bend right here that came on my piece, but you definitely do need this top lip right there. And these are the two holes that will mount on the underside of the bumper. And obviously these 4 holes is where the license plate will mount onto. Now keep in mind, you know, this was leftover adhesive from the decal that I peeled off as best I could. I basically wanted to spray this thing black just so I can hide this edge right here, and obviously this edge right here, and then all the rough edges from when I did the Dremel yesterday on this, just to kind of rust proof this thing. But just remember, the license plate's going to encapsulate this thing. You're not going to see any of the sheet metal right here. So it doesn't have to be the prettiest, but I tried to do as best I could. So I think it turned out all right for some scrap material that I had laying around. Now I'm going to go ahead and mount the license plate on here, and then we can go ahead and throw it on the Tacoma. Alright guys, fairly easy mod for those that live in states requiring a front license plate. Now keep in mind, the longest part of this process was cutting out the sheet metal, in which you'll need to make sure you have the right cutting tools for doing so. Otherwise, it's just a 10mm ratchet and a hand drill is needed, and now you can retain your front bumper from having any screw holes, which the OEM plate bracket requires. We got a lot more DIY Tacoma videos coming up in the near future, and hope y'all can join along as we build up this 3rd gen access cab. Now, if you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. For channel updates, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic day.